This is Romeo on a missing poster. Not a cute post, not a funny story. And the thing no one tells you is the poster isn't the worst part. I've blurred the details for obvious reasons, but everything else? This happened. 48 hours, no GPS tracker, no caller, and at 11 p.m., I heard something I will never forget. 24 hours earlier, breakfast. Welcome to Cat Court. Case file number 5. Exhibit A, the defendant. Last seen in good standing. I had just returned from the United States. My mom wasn't well. I'd been gone. And when you've been away from your cats, you know this feeling. You come back and everything feels right again. Romeo was home. Juliet was home. Order had been restored. But there was one small problem. For the last few months, Romeo had been irritated by his GPS tracker collar, that little navigation device, the one that told me at all times exactly where he was. I had removed it because he was uncomfortable. I made a judgment call. Law number 1, always keep the collar on. The moment you remove it for their comfort, they will exercise their freedom irresponsibly. The next morning, everything was normal. I wake up, and before I even open my eyes properly, there they are, both of them, staring. Romeo and Juliet don't do subtle, wet food. Romeo first, obviously. He files a formal objection if he waits. Juliet, pretending she's patient. She's not. I fed them both, opened the back door. Romeo went out to the garden like always. Juliet stayed inside, like always. And I started getting ready for uni. Now, here's what you need to understand about Romeo and food. That boy has never voluntarily stayed outside for longer than 30 minutes, because food exists, and he knows it. So when I noticed he hadn't come back, I thought, fine, maybe he's just having a moment. But I had this feeling. I don't know what to call it. I just had a feeling. Law number 2, always listen to your gut feeling. Your cats cannot speak, but something in you always knows. Exhibit B, last known location, 7 a.m. I checked the Ring camera before I left, and I saw him sitting in the garden. Just sitting, looking around. And then he walked toward the left fence. And that was it. That was the last footage of Romeo. I told my partner before I left, I don't think Romeo's come back yet. Keep an eye. He said, don't worry, when you were away, he did this. He always came back. He wasn't right. Because I was in my finance lecture at university, finance of all things, watching the Ring camera on my phone, watching my partner walk into the garden and call his name, and Romeo didn't come. I left that lecture and did what any reasonable, completely calm person would do. I made 20 printouts at university with Romeo's face, our address, my number. I went home and I knocked on every single door on the block, every neighbor, the MOT test center behind us, every garden. I called his name until my own voice felt absurd. And then that night, I just crashed. My partner said, "Go rest, you need to function." And I lay down and I felt something I don't have a legal term for. Just dread. Law number 3. When your cat goes missing, go online immediately. Post everywhere. Register on Paw Boost and Pet Radar. Your community will show up before the police do. That night, I did what anyone does when they've run out of ideas. I went online. Nextdoor, Facebook community groups, anywhere someone might have seen him. And something unexpected happened. Strangers showed up. Check the sheds and garages. Search at night when it's quiet. Leave your clothing outside. The scent guides them home. Flood the area with posters. Someone even quoted Shakespeare at me. "Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" I was not in the mood, but I appreciated it. I registered him on Paw Boost and Pet Radar. I got 50 free posters from PetsReunited, delivered the next day. People shared, people commented, people I'd never met were looking for my cat. I was stressed. I was scared. I was all over the place. But I wasn't alone. Law number 4. A cat must always be microchipped. And that microchip must always be up to date, especially when you move. An outdated dress is as good as no microchip at all. I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up, checking my phone, opening the Ring app, triggering the speaker on the back garden camera, calling his name into the dark. Then the front door camera, just in case he was nearby and could hear me.
Romeo?
I watched the recorded footage over and over, every shadow, every movement. If the wind moved a leaf, I thought it was Romeo. If something shifted in the corner of the frame, I paused it, rewound it, watched it again. I was seeing him everywhere, and he was nowhere. I don't know if paranoid is the right word, but it's the closest one I have. The next morning, my neighbor, the one whose garden backs onto ours, a lovely woman, mature, calm, exactly what I needed. She told me Romeo visited her garden regularly, that he'd come in, acknowledge her, very Romeo, and go on about his business. She said he was so beautiful. Maybe someone had kept him. I told her I had the same feeling. She was so kind that during the day she came to check on me, to see if he'd come back. Just checked on me. That's when I also called the microchip company, told them Romeo was missing so they could flag it. And then I realized we'd moved recently. My address wasn't updated on the microchip database. Your Honor, that was a close call. The day was getting longer. I went door to door, checking gardens, checking sheds, calling his name. And while I was out there, a neighbor told me 3 cats had gone missing in the area. 3 in the same street. And that's when my brain did something I am not proud of. I started suspecting people, because Romeo never just disappeared. He knew this block. He knew our routine. So I ordered binoculars off Amazon. Yes, binoculars. At this point, I had fully committed to the investigation. I was watching every house, every car, every person who walked past. And I was checking Gumtree, scrolling every gray cat, every single one. I called the police. They told me they don't deal with pets. Sir, this is not a pet. This is a citizen. He pays rent and emotional damage. Law number 5. When your cat goes missing, call your vet before you call the police. One actually cares. I called my vet. I told them Romeo was missing. They actually cared. Real humans. I reminded them he was microchipped. They logged it. My partner went out again, calling his name. Romeo still didn't come. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A woman. She said, "I think I may have seen Romeo. Can I send a picture?" She sent it. A gray cat. Same build, same breed. But the face was turned away, and he'd been injured. And that, Your Honor, is where everything went wrong inside me, because for that moment, I was sure it was him. She said she'd taken him to the animal hospital. They were checking, and I waited. Then she texted back. The cat wasn't microchipped. The cat wasn't neutered. It wasn't Romeo. I want you to understand the very specific feeling of that sentence. Not Romeo. Which meant we still didn't know where Romeo was. I said to my partner, "I'm getting changed. We're going out. Both of us. Now." It was late. The main road was loud, impossible to hear anything. So we went around the block, flashlights on, calling his name, stopping, listening. Nothing. My partner said, "I don't think he's here." And I said, "I'm going further." I don't know why. I just knew. Around the corner, a house I hadn't checked, across the road, and I heard a dog barking. Then, underneath the barking, something. Romeo. I heard it. This tiny sound, not loud, not confident, just present.
Romeo.
I called again. "Romeo." And he answered. Not to my partner's voice, not to the neighbor's voice, to mine. Law number 6. A cat will only respond to the voice they have chosen to be accountable to, and it is never your partner's. My partner crossed the road toward the big green hedge. He opened the small gate. went inside, and there, near the shed, Romeo was hiding, eyes peering out in the dark, scared, frozen.
Romeo.
My partner reached in and grabbed him gently, carried him out, and he gave him to me. I held him, and I could feel it. He was trembling. This big, dramatic, confident boy, trembling. He was terrified of the road. He couldn't cross it himself. But physically, not a scratch. Classic Romeo. The second we walked through the door, Romeo went straight to his food bowl, started eating. No acknowledgement, no apology, no testimony, just dinner. He ate like a man who had simply completed a side quest. Exhibit F. Status restored. And in our home that night, we made a promise that when something like this is given back to you, you give back. The court ordered restitution. We arranged for 100 people to be fed back home, not because it fixed the fear, but because gratitude needs somewhere to go. That night, I slept like I hadn't slept in years. And in the morning, the collar went back on. The GPS tracker, the navigation thingy, non-negotiable. Law number 7. His comfort is his concern. Your sanity is the cat court's priority. The tracker stays, permanently. Romeo is home, collar on, case closed. Juliet watched all of this unfold from the sofa. She didn't move, she didn't help, she didn't even look up. Unbothered. As always. Case file number 4 is about her. Subscribe. The court is not done. Case closed.